Well, the Rangers back home and happy to be here at Globe Life Field. Rangers baseball presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. It's the opening game of this homestand, opening game of this series. Rangers and the Angels. Welcome in, everyone. Great to have you along with us tonight. I'm Dave Raymond with C.J. Nitkowski. The Rangers back off a great road trip. Took 2 of 3 in Oakland, 2 of 3 in San Francisco, and now hoping to keep a good thing going here at home where they played very, very well. Now at the trade deadline, both these teams, the Rangers all year long, it felt like this is a playoff team. But the Angels leaned in as well at the trade deadline. Since that time, though, it's been a very different story.
Yeah, it really hasn't worked out at all here for the Angels. A 3-9 record since the deadline. I admire the fact that they tried to keep this thing together, even add to this team. But like you said, it has not worked out. They have struggled mightily, especially on the pitching side, as you see that team ERA up over 6 since that trade deadline on August 1st. The Rangers, on the other hand, though, they have been terrific. We have seen it day in and day out, and so the Angels slowly fading away here and out of contention. Now, that does not mean we're not going to have stars here. Corey Seager and, of course, the rest of the Rangers, they have been great. But how about since June 16th between these two, Shohei Ohtani on his way to another MVP. He's been swinging a very hot bat. We will not see him pitch in this series. Corey Seager all season long has been terrific, but especially here lately with those 28 extra base hits since the middle of June.
Well, and if you like big stars in the game, then you're going to love today's pitching. Max Scherzer making his 3rd start in a Rangers uni. Let's put him in the spotlight with Emily Jones when we come back. Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is brought to you by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, the Texas Department of Transportation, and the safe days of summer, reminding Texans to buckle up day or night, front seat or back. And by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better. And there's a swing and a miss. His first strikeout in a Rangers uniform.
It is gone! Home run! Shohei Ohtani!
High set for Scherzer. Here comes the 2-2 pitch, and I think he hit it.
So Ohtani with a drive. How far will this one go? Shohei Ohtani with a blast!
There's a swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 8.
Plenty of star power on tap in this one, as it is the Rangers and Angels opening up a 3-game series, the first of 6 straight at home for Texas, and it is Scherz Day here at Globe Life Field. Max Scherzer getting his 3rd start as a Texas Rangers, and he has infused a lot of good things into this Rangers rotation, and the entire pitching staff for that matter. We know about the moves that were made at the deadline, and we knew about what he could do on the field, on that mound, but what he has done just as a byproduct of being Max Scherzer and the way he has pushed his fellow pitchers has been quite remarkable. And when you look at what he's been able to do in our Shiner Box Spotlight in his first 2 starts as the Rangers, he got into a little bit of trouble. He's able to work out of jams. He can dominate. There is nothing that Max Scherzer can't do on that mound, and it is fascinating to hear him talk about the art of pitching and how he approaches it. And it's no doubt that he has had a positive influence on this pitching staff and on this team as a whole. There you see the numbers, that 2-0 record, 2.77 ERA. Quite impressive, huh, CJ?
Certainly has been. An infusion of energy perhaps the Rangers didn't realize they needed as we take a look at Max Scherzer overall, 11-4 on the season, as Emily mentioned. 2-0 in his 2 starts with a 2.77 here with the Rangers. 24 home runs allowed. Just 1, though, in a Ranger uniform in those 13 innings. 4-seam fastball, slider, changeup, curveball, and cutter. That is the pitch mix there for Max Scherzer. He has gotten at least 20 strikeouts on each of those 5 pitches.
All right, well, he's ready to go, and his first pitch looked pretty good, but missed just a bit low to Mickey Moniak. Moniak, the leadoff man, center fielder for the Angels. One of a number of lefties in the lineup today, and he comes up empty there. 1-1. They have 4 left-handed hitters in the lineup, along with 2 switch hitters in there. And that one is tight. 2-1 to Moniak.
So the only real difference there for Max Scherzer is the strikeout rate drops against lefties compared to the righties. 8.8 per 9 against lefties, 11.4 per 9 against right-handed hitters. Huge number for Scherzer.
That evens the count at 2-2. So we'll see. Maybe he can get a strikeout of Moniak. Moniak has struggled a little bit with strikeouts, particularly relative to his walks. The 2-2 pitch, and he strikes out swinging.
And the reason he struggles with those strikeouts is because he chases outside of the strike zone often. This four-seam fastball is probably just off the plate, slightly elevated at 94 miles an hour, and Moniak way underneath that baseball as he tried to get it out of the zone.
So our first out of the game comes on a strikeout for Scherzer. And now he squares off against Shohei Ohtani. And a fastball hits the outside corner for a strike. How about that at 96 miles per hour?
And encouraging to see that call. Looked like it might have been just a little bit off. And so far here, maybe we find out that the outside corner is going to be open against left-handed hitters.
And that inside corner, not there for him on that one. That was a little too far in. 1-1. A great matchup here between these two guys. Two of the superstars of the game. One on the mound, the other one on the mound and at the plate. In the case of Shohei Ohtani, who leads the league with 41 home runs. He's third in the league with 84 RBIs. And interesting to note that Scherzer, though he's been in the game a long time, has never faced Ohtani. Gets him to foul that one away. In fact, he hasn't squared off against the Angels since 2014 when he was in a Tigers uniform. So it's been a while for Scherzer, a three-time Cy Young Award winner, eight-time All-Star. And it's 1-2. Ohtani manages to stay alive.
Some pretty good plate coverage there. The previous pitch was a changeup that was down below the zone and away from him. He fouled that off. How about this fastball? Look how far in this in. That is a really good pitch from Scherzer, and pretty impressive that Shohei Ohtani could foul that off. That is a hole for most hitters.
Scherzer's third start as a Ranger. He's won his first two. The 1-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. He strikes out Ohtani.
Well, all by itself, that at bat right there worth the price of admission here this evening at Globe Life Field. The cutter from Max Scherzer, not going to throw it any better than that. You always want that cutter to finish just off the plate. It does. And Shohei Ohtani has gone fishing after that one.
Says the man in his fishing shirt.
That's right.
Brandon Drury, and he'll take a slider for a strike. Drury, the third place hitter, 15 homers, 49 RBIs for him. First right-handed hitter to step in against Scherzer today. And that's low, 1-1.
I told you, Scherzer doesn't strike out a lot of lefties.
Right, no, you're locked in on that one.
Just the first two here for tonight.
Well, what about righties?
He strikes them out a lot. High strikeout rate against right-handed hitters.
Well, I don't know if I can believe you. It's a good slider to take the count to 1-2. So Scherzer trying to strike out the side to get this one started tonight. Now time call. And Scherzer maybe having a little trouble. A violation of the pitch timer, and Scherzer does strike out the side with a toss over his shoulder.
He looks mad about it. I'm not exactly sure what the problem is. You're like, maybe he was having a pitch comm issue. Now the conversation here between Drury and the home plate umpire, Hunter Wendelstedt. We didn't get to see the end of that one, but we saw the end of the other two. Fastball up and away to Moniak, and then this cutter on the inside corner, just off to Shohei Ohtani and Mark Scherzer. Not Mark, it's Max Scherzer. Strike out the side.
Now, here come the Rangers. That was a weird finish to the top of the first. The Rangers 70 wins, 48 losses. And they have a 2.5 game lead over Houston. Semien, Seager, Lowe at the top of the order. Garcia, Garber, Duran in the middle. Duran at third base. Grossman DHs tonight. JP Martinez making his home debut in left field. And Leody Taveras in center.
Well, we got Patrick Sandoval on the mound here tonight for the Angels. He's been on a pretty nice run. You can see that 1.86 ERA for him over his last 5 starts. It's been a good year for him overall for the left-hander. Respectable strikeout rate. He has allowed just 9 home runs in his 109 2/3 innings. You're going to get a slider, changeup, 4-seam fastball, curveball, 2-seam fastball,
and sweeper. He is 6 pitches deep.
His first pitch, the fastball, way off the plate for ball 1. Semien, he's been swinging it pretty well. And you see the overall numbers for him at the bottom of the screen. He's now 10th in the league with that 281 batting average. Leads the league in runs scored, second in hits. The 72 RBIs, 9th most in the league. An all-round spectacular year for Marcus Semien. And he hits it on the ground to shortstop. Velasquez throws it high. We got a collision. Semien's safe. He came down with a hand on the bag, but that was a hard collision right in front of the bag. Man alive.
Now you can see Bruce Bochy out there. You can see Mike Moustakas certainly concerned as we take a look at this replay here on what looked like it was going to be a routine ground out. Velasquez, we know, was a really good defender, but that high throw as Moustakas went to get the baseball. Pretty hard collision there between Marcus Semien and Moustakas, and really nobody's fault. You see Marcus start to go to the inside of the bag there, and you have a split second to make a decision on what you want to do here. And you look up and he sees Moustakas, and so he tries to avoid him. And I guess it helps a little bit that they caught kind of on the side there, not necessarily direct, but it looked right. And Marcus Semien seems to be fine and staying in this game.
We're talking about a guy whose nickname is Moose.
Yeah.
Not the guy you want to bump into at full speed. Moustakas, he's listed at 6 feet tall, 225 pounds, but we know those numbers typically come from when they were drafted or signed. Any case, Semien is on. And now Seager gets a shot. And he'll take downstairs ball 1. So an error on Velasquez. Rangers have the first base runner of the night. Sandoval with a long hold. And that one finds a corner. Just underway tonight. The Rangers at home this week before heading out for a 3-city trip beginning a week from tonight. A little device there for Theis, connecting his index finger and thumb. Somehow escaped from his glove, from the inside of his glove. That was weird. 1-1. Came way in there on Seager.
He did, and you saw it in the first pitch of the game. Patrick Sandoval's got some pretty good movement on his fastball. It is live. And not a bad pitch at all. You don't see it too often, but lefties who are comfortable, who have that kind of movement and are comfortable pitching in to left-handed hitters, it's a good pitch if you can execute it with consistency. Sandoval's having all kinds of issues. He didn't like the baseball. He got a new one. The throw was short. The ball gets away from him. And this is about the messiest first
My goodness.
of an inning, and you can see he's frustrated right now.
Yeah. A hockey goalie out there. And not the smoothest of starts for Sandoval. Here's the 1-2. And that one bounces up there. Good job by Theis to keep it in front of him. And Semien stays put at first. Sandoval a little out of sorts here. There's only 7 pitches into the game, but
he just looks irritated.
He does.
Kind of what happened there with the baseball too. I mean, the errors, I don't think it bothers you that much. You don't love it, but it's not a big deal. But whatever's going on here communication-wise, maybe with Theis, seems to be bugging him a little bit as well.
Semien will draw a throw. This is that interesting time of night. We don't always. It seems like a while since we've seen this, where the sun pouring through the windows along the third base line and right around that first base area can make it a little challenging for Moustakas. He's shading his eyes. And Seager strikes out swinging. There's the first out of the inning.
It's a pretty nasty slider here from Sandoval. He's got live movement and pitches going in both directions. Off the plate, you can see Corey Seager. Got not long enough to get to it, but an 89-mile-an-hour slider from
Patrick Sandoval with some pretty good movement.
Which is funny because his fastball's been right around 90.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You look at the difference there between fastball velocity and slider velocity, not much, but that thing moved quite a bit.
There's a better fastball there at 94 for a strike to Nathaniel Lowe. Now Lowe with 14 homers, 63 RBIs. Once again batting third in this lineup. A lineup that's stayed so consistent for Bruce Bochy this year. 0-2 on Lowe. And Lowe's had a huge year in terms of walks and just consistently getting on base. He's 5th in the league with 65 walks. His .370 on base, that's 5th best in the league. And he's hit a ton of doubles. That is strike 3 called though. Sandoval just does catch that outside corner. 2 gone.
All right, time now for our Choctaw Casino and Resorts game within the game as we see Adolis Garcia getting ready to step to the plate. That's a good thing because he has been really good here at Globe Life Field. Nearly a .300 batting average, 10th best in the American League. We have seen him hit 20 home runs in this ballpark this season, driving in runs all year long, and an OPS over 1,000.
Holds off on that first pitch and it just missed. Garcia did not have a huge road trip, although he walked a fair amount. He was just 3 for 23 out in California. Had a double. Sandoval's 1-0. Semien was running the pitch, a strike, no throw offered, and for Marcus, his 11th stolen base.
Good time to go, certainly, for Marcus to get in scoring position for Garcia. Let's take a look at the jump. Yeah, it's a big one. Even though Sandoval is quick to the plate, that is just some good instinct there from Marcus Semien. It's only the 6th stolen base against Sandoval all year long. Matt Thaiss has thrown okay. 19% caught stealing rate for him, slightly below league average.
That one wildly outside. 2-1 to Albombi. Rangers cleanup man. Right among the best in the league in home runs and RBIs. It's 2-2. 29 homers, 89 RBIs, most RBIs in the league. Chance to put the Rangers on the board first here tonight. Semien, good speed out at second. 2-2 from Sandoval, and that's fouled away.
Back-to-back changeups to Garcia. The last one in a 2-1 fastball count in the zone was really good. This time he tries to go outside the strike zone. You see it start on the corner and finish off. And Adolis just barely fouled that pitch off. I'll tell you, Sandoval's stuff looks really good here so far tonight. Fastball moving well. Changeup has been good. Slider has been good here in the first inning.
2-2 pitch. That's high. Well, he's on a good run too, Sandoval. Last 5 starts, he's been very sharp, pitching to a 1.86 ERA, 27 punch outs. He seems to have found a bit of a groove. Here's the payoff, and he delivers low. A walk to Garcia. Rangers have a couple of base runners. Good at bat or plate appearance by Garcia. So a couple of men on for Mitch Garver. Did not play yesterday. We saw Jonah Heim activated before yesterday's game, and he got the start behind the plate. Garver back in there today, and let's face it, Garver, he's been swinging one of the hotter bats for this team. He was 4 for 9 with a home run in that series against the Giants. Hit .368 on the road trip overall. And he holds off here. That one's up. pretty clearly Garver when he's been getting regular playing time behind the plate. He is followed by swing of the bat really well. 1-1. Sandoval misses again. And Sandoval, the balls and strikes this inning almost dead even. 10 balls, 11 strikes. And some of the balls haven't been all that competitive.
I would agree with that, and think about even the strikeout that he had of Corey Seager outside the strike zone. Another pitch he fouled off outside of the strike zone. So how many pitches have actually been in the zone? And a little bit of an issue. He's got a walk rate just below 10%. That is a little bit worse than league average. League average sits around 8, a little bit higher. So perhaps that's an opportunity, certainly for the Rangers to take advantage of, as good as this offense has been. They'll make you pay for walks.
It's 3-1 to Garver. Inside, ball 4. Back-to-back 2-out walks. And the Rangers have the bases loaded in the first inning. And he'll get a visit. Matt Wise heads out there on a jog.
In his last start, no walks for Sandoval, but in the previous, I think that's looking at the wrong one. There we go. This is his first start. But he's been pitching really well. Just a couple of walks in his last one, but he'll have these other games that'll jump out at you. And you mentioned he's been on a really good run. He had a game where he walked 6. I mean, it's going to happen. He's that kind of guy that it could be an issue at times.
Is it just that the stuff moves so much?
I think it's part of it. I mean, it certainly can be. 2 starts to go, 4 walks in just 5 innings. If you're not getting a team, you get a team that's undisciplined, well, they're going to chase those pitches. You get a disciplined team, could lead to walks.
Well, here's Duran. His job is to remain patient, and he pulls this one foul for strike 1. When you look at one of the trends for Sandoval is that the first innings can be really tough on him. 25% of the runs he's allowed this year have scored in the first inning. He's allowed 55 runs. 14 of them have come in the first. That's outside. 1-1.
And we're seeing a period now here for Ezekiel Duran where he's getting more playing time right after we saw what happened with Josh Jung. It was on August 6th that Ezekiel Duran came in for Josh Jung after he got hurt. Look what he's done since then. 400 batting average, 480 on base. Once again filling in for an injured Ranger in the infield and putting up big numbers.
He takes low. 2-1. And he's coming off a really nice road trip as well. Not surprising given the numbers you just showed. But he's reached base safely now, hit or a walk in 5 straight. 6 of the last 7 games. If he reaches here, the Rangers will have a lead. 2-1 pitch, and it's fouled away. Yesterday we spent a little bit of time lauding the great effort of Dane Dunning. Not just in yesterday's game, but as a guy who stepped into the rotation for the Rangers, filling the spot of Jacob deGrom. He's been invaluable. And Duran's the same version on the offensive side. But he strikes out swinging here. And Sandoval gets out of one whale of a jam in the first. Rangers leave them loaded. We'll go to the second inning, no score.
The opener of a 3-game series between the Rangers and the Angels. And of course, Travis Jankowski has been out the last few days with the arrival of his baby girl, Ridlyn Reese. Today he was activated and Jonathan Ornelas was sent down. They opted to go with JP Martinez, keep him at the big league level just for some more coverage options as far as the outfield is concerned. And feel like the way he's been playing, definitely an asset to this team. So definitely not a knock on Jonathan, but just felt like they had a few more options with JP.
Yeah, the big hit in yesterday's ball game in San Francisco. He's got the great speed as well, and it makes a lot of sense. I think the way that the Rangers are using this roster right now and guys that you have that are optionable, they're very valuable to have.
And yeah, I want to see more of Martinez too. Anyway, quite honestly, I mean, I would say it's a similar role with Jankowski, right? You have a guy that can run and get on base. Drew a lot of walks in the minor leagues. So there are some similarities between the two of them.
Or 2 in the dirt for a ball. Yeah, well, we saw the value of that speed yesterday, where the Rangers darn near stole one from the Giants, wrapping up that 3-game series. Giants would end up winning it in the bottom of the 10th on a walk-off home run. But Martinez put him in a position to win it at one point. The 1-2 pitch, that's pulled foul. Mike Moustakas leading off the second inning for the Angels. Then Rengifo and Hunter Renfroe. Scherzer struck out the side in the first inning in order. But Moustakas hammers that down the right field line, and that is foul. Oof. Good hustle, young man.
Too close for comfort. Mike Moustakas, far and away the most experience and most plate appearances against Max Scherzer of any Angel. 45 times he has faced him. He's punched out 14, hitting just 140 in those 45 plate appearances. However, a home run in there.
Boy, cues a weird one down the third baseline, and give him credit for taking off there. He saw the way that one reacted off the end of the bat, and we've seen it. Balls go foul, let's say 15 degrees, and then spin back fair. And he wasn't about to get caught sleeping on that one.
Hey, real quick, 45 plate appearances. How many times do you think Mike Moustakas has walked against Max Scherzer? 45 plate appearances.
Twice.
Once. It's unbelievable. 14 punchies, 1 walk. I mentioned the home run. He hit that back in 2014, but just 6 for 43. 1 walk in 45 plate appearances.
You told me that left-handers didn't strike out against Scherzer. Here's the 1-2, and that's pulled foul.
I just said at a lower rate compared to the righties. That's all.
Scherzer got 2 lefties in the first inning. He got the right-handed hitting Brandon Drury, although he went about it unconventionally. I guess might be the way to look at it. The 1-2 pitch, and Moustakas stays alive. This is how the third strike to Drury went last inning. Drury in the batter's box. Time winding down, 7 seconds. Asked for time. And it looks like he was granted time there. And then it was like, well, no, you're out.
Why?
Bouncer right side. Smothered by Semien, no play. And Moustakas is aboard.
What did you make of that? So we sit there. There's plenty of time left on the clock.
Yep.
At one point, you already saw Drury looking up at Max Scherzer, so it looked like he had engaged, right?
Engaged.
Max Scherzer was that seemed like he had an issue potentially with his pitch comm. Why was he called out there? I don't even know if I have an answer for that.
It's not clear to me because he asked for time. Now there's no rules, best I recall, that says you can't ask for time inside 8 seconds. And it looked to me like he was granted time. And then once he stepped away, then it was like, well, now, wait a minute, you can't do that. Well, no, I can. You just gave me time.
He didn't call time earlier in the at-bat, did he?
Well, I don't think so. Maybe. It's possible he did. That might be the answer to our question. There's strike 1. And there to Rengifo. Man at first in Mike Moustakas. That would explain it.
So, I mean, as far as I'm looking at the logs here, it says batter timeout. So did he already use it? He must have already used it.
Well, what do you mean? In the batter log.
It just says here, Max Scherzer, Brandon Drury, top of the first.
Yeah.
Batter timeout.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
So I think point there is that he asked for the timeout already. Must have been the second time. You don't get a second one.
1-1. It's fouled away. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one interpretation of that. I mean, he definitely was. So is that the out? I mean, he gets a strikeout for it, right? Or does he not? Well, yeah, he gets a strikeout.
Yeah, for sure, strikeout.
That's weird. 1-2 pitch, and this one blooped out to center. I say blooped. That's carrying pretty well. Taveras runs underneath it though. And there is the first down of the inning.
And first defensive out that we have seen here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Rangers defense, brought to you by Rally House here this evening. Martinez, Taveras, and Garcia in the outfield left to right. We have Corey Seager and Marcus Semien up the middle with Ezekiel Duran and Nathaniel Lowe on the corners. And Mitch Garver is catching Max Scherzer.
So now Renfroe. And he'll take just a little bit off the plate. Hunter Renfroe, right fielder. 17 homers, 51 RBIs for Renfroe. He's also hit 29 doubles. A good year. He's ahead 2-0. Angels came into play today, 59 wins, 60 losses. And they are 11.5 back of the Rangers in the division. The 2-0 pitch. Scherzer misses again. It's a huge, huge series for Phil Nevin and the Angels here. Nevin in his first full year as the manager of the Angels. A 3-0. Well, a bit low. Renfroe takes the walk. And they had some questions around the trade deadline. There you see it. On August 1st, they were 4.5 back. And the Angels, they made some moves at the deadline. But for whatever reason, it has not worked out well for them since then. And they have dropped, what, 7 games in the standings since then. That's fouled back.
So the starting pitching hasn't been very good, really all the pitching, and we've talked about that a little bit here lately with the Angels. So that's one of their issues. They struggle to get the big hit with runners on base. That's been a problem as well for them.
Yeah, that's been a problem all year.
Yeah, it's easy to pile on. It's they should have sold at the deadline and they should have traded Shohei Ohtani. I still don't believe it. I think they made the right choice to add a little bit, continue to go forward, even though they're missing some really key pieces. I don't think you could have ever really got the trade value you wanted to for Shohei Ohtani. So keep him there, take a shot at it. Your fans appreciate it. It just hasn't worked out.
0-2. And that's up and out. Yeah, so maybe you don't get the full value for Ohtani, but you'd at least get something.
Sure.
Because it's not likely, it doesn't seem likely anyway, that Ohtani would sign back. It's just, I haven't said that, but he's certainly more than giving off that energy. 2-2.
The problem is it's so difficult to match up because there is a financial component when you trade him, right? The revenue that he brings to your team, like no other player in this game does. You say, okay, well, we got somebody's best A-ball player who's 5th best prospect in their organization. It's not going to be enough.
A liner to second, a throw back to first. Double play. Inning over. That's tough luck for Theis, but a nice play by Marcus Semien to get the double play.
The Angels considering maybe a challenge here, but nothing yet so far. And this one worked out pretty well. Marcus Semien with the catch. Here we go. Line drive. There he is. And then he leads Nathaniel Lowe to the bag. I think he beat him with the bag and the tag. Oh, he never stepped on the bag. He did bag.
Baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. And it's great having you along for the ride tonight. We've got a scoreless start here. The Rangers just opening this homestand, 3 against the Angels, and then looking forward to seeing the Brewers in town over the weekend. There's the first pitch here to Robbie Grossman. That's low and inside, ball 1. Sandoval had a scramble of a first inning. Rangers left the bases loaded. All 3 runners got there for free. An error and 2 walks, two out walks to load the bases. Sandoval managed his way around it. It cost him a lot of pitches. He seemed at times a little out of sorts or frustrated. And now he starts this inning 2-0 to Grossman. The lefty's pitch, a swing and a miss. But as we pointed out in the first inning, sometimes, and this is true of a lot of starters, your best opportunity is early, usually in that first inning. That's inside 3-1. And in the case of Sandoval, it's a pretty easy one to measure, given that 25% of the runs he's allowed this year have come in the first inning. But he narrowly escaped. There's a strike, and it's a full count.
Close one, but probably a good call there. We've seen some borderline pitches here today. Max Scherzer wasn't happy with the 3-0 pitch that he threw. This one maybe an inch or two higher, and just very narrowly catching the bottom of the strike zone. But Sandoval so far, just 33% of his pitches have been inside the strike zone. 1 out of 3.
Payoff pitch, that misses. That's a third walk that he has allowed already. We have a moment now for Baylor's Scott and White help.
Doc says you're good.
Lead man on here is J.P. Martinez. We saw him make his big league debut on the road. And Martinez, quite honestly, he looked pretty good. 4 for 11 on the road trip with a double. Drove in a run with a sacrifice fly. Drew a walk. Yesterday started a really cool rally in the 9th inning, forcing extras. Here's the 1-0. And he rips that one just foul. 1-1.
He turned on that two-seam fastball. I mentioned it earlier. Left-handers that have a live two-seamer the way that Sandoval does, and they're willing to throw it inside to left-handed hitters, can be a really tough pitch to get to. And so Martinez really quick, and an emphatic shakeoff there from Sandoval. And you wonder, does he want to go back in, or is he thinking I better stay away after that pitch I just threw?
1-1. Well, they came in, but a little bit up. Ball 2. Martinez from Cuba. It's been the last couple of years playing in the Can-Am Association. The 2-1 pitch. High chopper. Right side. Could be tough. Not in time. And Martinez, we failed to mention, brilliant speed. And he beats that one out.
Well, the value of putting the ball in play, and he gets a little bit of a break here with the high chopper. It's another two-seam fastball, and there's not going to be enough time to get the very speedy Martinez. Drury got rid of it as quickly as he possibly could, as Moustakas is going to get back to the bag, and it was a good throw and on an easy play. But again, nothing you can do about that speed as he busted out of the box.
Not even close. So 2 men on, nobody out, and here is Taveras. He shows bunt, drops it first base side. Sandoval bare hands, and his throw to first is in time. They get Leone, but the sacrifice is good, and the Rangers have a couple of minutes scoring position. That's interesting. Leone has struggled a little bit lately, so a chance to turn in a productive at bat, and sometimes those things can really help,
especially when you're talking about this part of the order here. What Semien and Seager do, a couple of shots at this to try to get on the board, and with his speed too, he puts some pressure on the defense with that bunt. You never know unless a pitcher throws that ball away.
Marcus, he reached on the error in the first, and he takes strike 1 here.
A good number there, and something that we've talked about quite a bit on the broadcast, and that's when there's been a runner at third base, less than 2 outs for Marcus Semien, driving in that runner 19 of 27 times.
Pitch from Sandoval, up and out. 1-1. Inning started with a walk. See Theis
right there, like almost like he wanted to check on Sandoval, and Sandoval wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
because he just threw back-to-back changeups. One cut, one got away from him, and almost like he wanted to check on him, and he was like, get out of here. That's what the body language felt like.
Right, I'm with you. I feel like they have not been getting along well tonight. The 1-1, and that one's lined up the middle, base hit. 1 run is in. Now Wade Martinez, a little bobble by Moniak. Martinez scores, and the Rangers jump out 2-0.
First things first, you get a really nice piece of hitting here by Marcus Semien on a slider that got in on him from the left-hander. Watch where he catches this on the bat in a little bit, muscles it into center field. Now, also watch Martinez. He had to make sure the ball was going to get down. He played it safe. He probably was not going to score. You can see him. He starts to slow down. Tony Beasley gives him the stop sign. Once they recognize that there was that bobble out in center field, he goes basically from probably fourth gear to second into fifth, and scores easily with the great speed. And that should be an error on Mickey Moniak because, again, Martinez was not going until they saw that bobble.
Well, they haven't weighed in officially yet. It should be 1 RBI for Marcus, and then an error to allow the extra run to score. Semien out there for Corey Seager now. And it is an error. And there's a toss over to first.
You brought up a good point about Leody Taveras, and when you're scuffling a little bit and you have a team at bat or an unselfish at bat where you lay down a bunt and then the team cashes it in. I mean, getting the bunt down feels good, but then watching the guy behind you turn that into 2 runs for your team and to give you a lead, there's something about that positive mojo, no doubt, right now for Leody Taveras.
Side on Seager. 2 runs are in. Only 1 out. Sandoval, man, this will be his 44th pitch of the night. And Seager lifts it into the seats behind third base.
So we just had a good note there on Corey Seager. Think about his season last year, right? He set a personal high in home runs last year, hit the ball hard all over the place. An 11% improvement for him on his hard hit rate from a year ago. It wasn't like last year was a bad year.
Oh. One. That's strike 2 on Corey. Keep in mind too with Seager, he's not playing at full strength right now. That thumb is still on the mend. When Young went down with his injury, it kind of forced Seager into playing more every day, even though I think it's pretty clear Bochy wanted to ease him in. See if he could mix in a little rest with the production for Seager. Instead, Corey's had to play every day with that sprained left thumb.
That's 2 right? 2 throwovers there, 2 disengagements. I think Marcus might push it here now.
Stole a base in the first inning
with a monster jump. Again, Sandoval's relatively quick to the plate, but nothing he can do right now unless he picks Marcus off.
Oh, whoa. Seager strikes out swinging, 2 away. And all things told, that might not be the worst thing there. That was dangerous for a minute.
Here's a 2-seam fastball. Real good look at the grip. We know Corey is aggressive, and this is a really live 2-seam fastball. Looked like it might have been a foul tip. Either way, you're right. A scary moment there, and you can be okay with the strikeout, knowing that could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. 4th strikeout for Sandoval. Lowe fouls off strike 1 here. Lowe went down looking in the first inning, 0 for 1. 2 runs across in the inning. You see the good numbers for Nathaniel since the All-Star break. Very similar to last year. And he fouls this one back. It was not a great road trip for Lowe. Just 5 hits in that week-long swing through Northern California. 5 for 26 on the trip. 3 of the 5 hits, though, were extra bases. A homer and 2 doubles. He strikes out here. Sandoval carved him up, and the inning is over. But the Rangers, they score first tonight. Marcus Semien gets it done with a single to center. And the Rangers have a 2-0 lead. Valley Sports is brought to you by Spectrum One. 3 great services working as one. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Underway here in the 3rd inning is Scherzer's first pitch. Runs a little bit in on Randal Grichuk. Grichuk, the 8th place hitter and starting left fielder tonight for the Angels, and he hits this ball sharply to shortstop. Seager is right there, though. 1 out in the 3rd inning.
Let's go ahead and take a look at our AT&T Fiber fast pitch, and for Max Scherzer, there have been some improvements here with the Rangers. He was having an okay season, but how about the four-seam fastball and the changeup in particular, and the numbers coming down on both the batting average and the slugging on both of those pitches compared to his time with the Mets. Just a 158 batting average on the four-seamer, 125 on the changeup. He's always been good, but he has been even better, and some of those improvements started toward the end of his tenure with the New York Mets. And the Rangers catching Max Scherzer at the right time, no doubt.
Breaking ball line foul. He's ahead of Velasquez 0-2.
And part of that too has been with the slider. Check this out for Max Scherzer over his last 5 starts, something we've been tracking and will probably the rest of this season. It was a real issue for him in New York. 292 batting average, now just a 136 over his last 5. A little adjustment that he talked about in the delivery has worked out really well for Max Scherzer. We're seeing the best version of his slider right now.
Yeah, it had been really elusive for him at the start of the year. I think a great comfort for him to get that back. And that one just off the outside corner, a curveball that time. 2-2. Nobody on here in the 3rd. Andrew Velasquez, a waiver claim from the Yankees a few years ago. And he'll take outside with a fastball. Now the payoff. And this one popped foul over into the seats. Velasquez originally drafted by Arizona in 2012. He was a 7th round pick. But a native of the Bronx, New York City. Eventually a Yankee, and then now an Angel. The 3-2 pitch, and that's fouled off.
And they struck him out.
I think, yeah, it's a strikeout. That was weird. Velasquez did not run as if he had foul tipped it, maybe just trying to sell it.
Well, I don't understand the call here from Hunter Wentz. Now it's going to be a changeup. Turns it over, didn't foul it off. But why did he put his arm up in there? What is that call from Hunter? Like, to me, if the ball's loose, then it's not a strikeout officially yet at that point.
Yeah, weird. There's a swing and a miss by Mickey Moniak. Having a little trouble with Hunter Windelstedt today. Got to be honest. But with 2 quick outs, that's 4 strikeouts now for Scherzer. It's 0-2 on Moniak.
He's not afraid to go out strike zone. Mentioned that with Moniak. We saw it in his first at bat. He comes in to this game with a 46% chase rate. Ridiculously high. No doubt Scherzer will try to expose that.
2-strike pitch. And that's popped up back behind the plate. Well, Scherzer, this will be his 50th pitch of the night, and maybe it'll get him through 3 innings. 0-2, it does. A strikeout of Moniak, his 5th of the night. And it's another scoreless inning for Mad Max. Rangers have the 2-0 lead heading to the bottom of the 3rd. We're going to keep it here. Dave Raymond, CJ Nitkowski, Max Scherzer, 5 strikeouts in the first 3 innings. Rangers have the early lead in this one. A big in-division series for the Rangers, a division that they have led all year long. A 2.5 game lead coming into play today. I see Astros losing by 1 currently to Miami. It's a pretty interesting division right now. I'd have to say, CJ, the American League West might be the most compelling in baseball.
It certainly is. It's been good. I'd say the AL East has also been really solid. I think the fact that the Angels are starting to go backwards right now has lessened a little bit of that pressure in our division. However, the Mariners are coming, and they've been actually playing some good baseball right now. We know the A's have struggled. I think the top 3 teams continue to stay in it. I think we'll see the Angels kind of continue to slide, probably the case. And I think we're all a little bit worried about the Astros as they get healthier now, and they just got Jose Urquidy back. Michael Brantley looks like he may not be too far away, and we know what a pain they can be in a good team. So that is the challenge right now, is that the Rangers continue to play good baseball. They're in the driver's seat right now with the lead. That is the good news, certainly. And only one more series against the Astros. You got to take care of business when you get that opportunity. But you're right, in division here against the Angels, always important to win these games.
I like what you said there, though. Leading the division, just take care of your own business, because that's kind of been the message from Bruce Bochy all the while. Oftentimes, reporters, some out of town, some local, will ask before a series, boy, hey, how big is this one to face this team? How much are you anticipating, this particular series? And his answer is usually right about the same, which is, well, I don't know. I mean, we just want to keep playing good baseball, right? As long as we keep doing that, then we'll be in good shape when all is said and done. And that attitude seems to have played really well with this clubhouse, and it's worked really well. And if all those scores that we showed you a moment ago hold, that is, the Rangers win this one, Houston trailing in their game 2-1, and Seattle being shut out by Kansas City, well, then the Rangers would add ground against all of the next 3 competitors in the division tonight. So everything's shaping up so far, and it's early. This could be a good Monday night for Bruce Bochy and company. Garcia takes low, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Adolis, who drew a walk in the first inning. Sandoval is labored at times today, but he does have 5 strikeouts. That's a full count now.
Another changeup there that doesn't look right for Patrick Sandoval. I mean, his arm looks live. You can see why he has been on a good run coming into this start. But something about that changeup here this evening that has not been as good as it's been in the past for Patrick Sandoval.
Payoff pitch, and Garcia stays alive.
And that's the pitch that he uses second most often, and so it's important in the repertoire, and a pitch that coming into tonight yielded just a 163 batting average against. He threw a good one in Adolis Garcia's first at bat when he was ahead in the count. He's trying to find the consistency on that one.
Puffing and puffing out there. Now the 3-2. Garcia takes high, ball 4. Once again, another really quality plate appearance for Garcia. I'll slide over now for Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
Fun, games, relaxation, or excitement. We've got all your bases covered at Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
You bring up a good point there with Garcia. Borderline pitches that he ends up taking for balls, and we saw on the road trip, we've seen it a couple times this year where he's had some bad luck. Some calls didn't go his way, called out on strikes. We've seen that more this year, and that's a good thing because the patience continues. It hasn't taken him out of his game, right? And he feels like maybe he has a call go against him, or do I need to be swinging a little bit more? He has not changed throughout the year. It's been impressive.
This one lined up the middle. That's a base hit for Garver. Garcia stops at second. First 2 men on to start the 3rd inning.
2-seam fastball here for Mitch Garver, and not quite the run that we'd seen earlier tonight on this pitch. He still cut her off the end just a little bit, but think about some of the 2-seamers that we saw, say, to Corey Seager, that were running really hard into him. That one had just a little bit of movement, so perhaps maybe some fatigue setting in for Patrick Sandoval as the Rangers continue to make him work and drive that pitch count up. 58 now through 2+ innings.
Now Duran, who was up with the bases loaded in the first inning and struck out, Sandoval throws back at second. Garcia back in there easily. Just something about his body language today makes me feel like he's got a bad case of the Mondays.
Right.
He's coming off a weekend and got it, the work week snuck up on him or something. One 1-0 to Duran. Outfield plays Zeke pretty deep. And he takes off the plate. 2-0. We saw Duran have a good road trip. He was 2 for 3 yesterday. Also hit by a pitch yesterday. 2-1 to count. Point if he gets going, then you could really see this team rattle off a real nice stretch. I mean, they have since the trade deadline. This team has been really good. That's low. 3-1 since the All-Star break, especially here at home. This team has been really good. But Duran did most of his damage this season in the first half. Taveras has not hit the ball real well here in the second half. 3-1. It's high. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Man, Sandoval really struggling with the strike zone.
Yeah, I was going to say, wonder if you're going to get somebody up, and they are, as you see that phone call being made now down to the bullpen for the Angels, and that's good news for the Rangers. Big opportunity here now with the bases loaded, nobody out, as Matt Thaiss is out to talk to Patrick Sandoval, who just has not been on here. A couple more changeups that have missed in this inning, and he's trying to catch a groove, and it just hasn't happened. The Rangers have kept the pressure on him, and for the most part have done a good job not expanding the zone. We'll keep track of that in-zone percentage for pitchers, and it's been a real issue here tonight for Patrick Sandoval. It's come up a little bit, but at 39% on an in-zone percentage, that is still lower than league average, and the Rangers have not let him off the hook.
Well, you could see in that conversation a moment ago too, he and Thaiss talking, and Sandoval's head shaking side to side over and over again. Thaiss nodding, trying to encourage him, but something's bothering Sandoval, not necessarily physically. But there's something going on he does not like. His pitch to Grossman, that one is just a hair low. Robbie's got a shot here to potentially knock Sandoval out of the game. Garcia third, Garver at second, Duran at first. One and one.
It's a good take there from Robbie Grossman. No doubt he's looking for something in the middle of the plate, something to drive, and Sandoval put a two-seamer right on the outside corner. You kind of saw him nodding his head a little bit. That was a good pitch and probably a smart take from Grossman.
Well, I'll tell you the other thing the Rangers have going here. If they could get Sandoval out of the game early, get into that bullpen, the residual effect in the series could be huge. We learned that Shohei Ohtani, who was to start tomorrow's game, that's not happening. They're going to skip him in the rotation. Lucas Giolito moves up to tomorrow. 1-2 pitch.
By the way, just head down there. So was Griffin Canning warming up, right? Guy who's been a starter. Even when we looked out there later, he's still like doing his crow hops.
Yeah.
He did not seem to be in any particular hurry to get ready. Look at this. He hadn't thrown a pitch off the mound yet.
It's not a start. You can't go out there and long toss in the outfield. You got to go.
There's a strikeout of Grossman. 6th strikeout for Sandoval.
Well, this is the slider here in top half of the zone. He comes back after a couple of walks and falling behind Robbie Grossman. You see Robbie underneath that slider.
So 1 gone. Here's JP Martinez. And he chases strike 1. Anyway, the other thing about Canning is there had been some speculation that he would be the starter on Wednesday. And that may be changing.
I might have just told him to throw a little bit and maybe not get all the way ready. And again, because he is a guy who is a starter, perhaps they want to be a little bit more careful as they use him in the bullpen. So he threw a little bit. He's kind of standing there, but we have not seen him fire any pitches. It's kind of interesting to watch. I mean, usually when the phone rings, your heartbeat starts pounding, the adrenaline is raised, try to get ready quick. It's not what we're seeing right now in the Angel bullpen. Remember last time they were here? I mean, there's been all kinds of drama in that pen at Globe Life Field. Phil Nevin went in to bring in, who's the right-hander? I think he's on the IL now. But there seemed to be a surprise. Oh, it was Davinsky.
That's right.
And then he threw the ball down. He was all angry. There was something. It's a party down there in that Angels bullpen.
Martinez stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. JP had an infield hit in the 2nd inning on that chopper behind the first base bag. Not a big guy, 5'9", listed at 175. And he bloops this one out to center. Going to hang up though for Moniak. He makes the catch. Tagging at third, Garcia. He scores a sac fly for Martinez. His 2nd already here in less than a week with the Rangers, and he makes it 3-0.
That's some good base running by Adolis Garcia. And Mickey Moniak, he's got a respectable arm, not a great arm, below average when you look at some of the throwing for him this year and arm strength. But that's a good job by Martinez. First of all, to make sure you get the ball in play in this spot, and you get the momentum behind you. Now, Moniak jumps for that ball if that's necessary. You do that, I always find that kind of awkward, so not much of a chance to get Garcia.
So it brings up Leody Taveras. He laid down a sacrifice bunt in the 2nd, and he watches this one low. That led to a 2-run 2nd inning. Really kind of a key play in that inning. And we're hoping that maybe that might do something to help get Leody going at the plate. Shoots that one foul to the right side. 1-1. Chance here to do some damage with a couple of men on. Three runs on only 3 hits for the Rangers. They've taken advantage of 5 walks and 2 errors. And it's 2-1. Sandoval just walks away from the situation for a moment.
Yeah, pitch count 76 pitches now through 2 2/3, and perhaps they get Canning up again as a guy who's been a starter through most of his career, thinking about next inning. Get him throwing a little bit, treat it like almost like he might be getting ready for something that's a little further away, I guess. It's awkward to see what's going on down there.
2-2.
He's made no relief appearances this year. I didn't realize that. Because he just got in the bullpen. 16 games, 16 starts. He had 1 relief appearance in 2021, missed last year with an injury. So yeah, what's going on right now with him down there is completely new.
Bouncer right side of the infield. Good play by Moustakas, but they'll have no play at first. Not sure what happened with Sandoval. He just forgot to cover. And Taveras beats out an infield hit, and the frustration for Sandoval building. But that's on him.
Yep, 100%. Let's see what happens here. Mike Moustakas, you got to know where guys are playing. There's Sandoval. And all it took was that little bit of hesitation. When you have a great runner like Leody Taveras, you cannot hesitate. You see him take just that 1 second. That was it. And and then he booked it for first, but it was too late.
Matt Wise out there again. Bases are loaded. And the Rangers have Marcus Semien coming up. Now Canning throwing some real warm-up pitches out there. Well, look at those pitch counts by inning. Rough.
And you talked about this too, right? How warm it is on the field for some of these guys, especially for visitors who come in and aren't used to it. And even though it's, 74 degrees inside, when it's hot outside, you still have kind of that feel of being in somewhat warm weather. It's warm down there, and you're having these long innings, and you can see his hat and how much he's sweating down there. A little bit different than Southern California.
I think partly the air just doesn't move when you're down there. Semien's been on twice. And Sandoval, good curveball in there for a strike. Garver at third, Duran at second, Taveras at first base. One run already in the inning. Rangers have had all kinds of traffic here against Sandoval to start this game. Marcus takes inside, 1-1. Oh, weird start for Sandoval, now at 80 pitches. Mentioned earlier, he's been good, especially lately for this team. On appeal? No, he didn't go. 2-1. John Tumpane down there at first. A Ranger on every base. And that's low. 3-1.
Another missed changeup there, no doubt, for Marcus Semien. He was geared up for something in the zone. Sandoval tried to fool him with the changeup, and he fatigues here again. That has been part of the problem. And so now Marcus Semien has what every hitter wants here. Way ahead in the count with the bases loaded. Knowing Sandoval's got to come to him.
Here's the 3-1, and that misses badly. Walks in a run. Rangers have a 4-0 lead. And then there's a weird gesture movement there by Sandoval afterward. Kind of did the George Costanza elbow jerk. And so that's it. Nevin is out there. He'll take the baseball. And what a frustrating night for Patrick Sandoval. His evening done early. 2 more runs are in. The Rangers have the 4-0 lead. Out of market game this year, live or on demand, and new and included in 2023. You can stream all minor league games as well. Blackout and other restrictions, of course, apply, and you can learn all about that as well as everything else at MLB.tv. That's where you have all the details. 4-0 Rangers lead here tonight. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Bases are still loaded. Griffin Canning comes in out of the bullpen. 16 starts this season, 84 2/3 inning. You can see in the ERA near 4.5. 16 home runs allowed in his 84 2/3 innings so far this year. 14 fastball, slider, changeup, and curveball for the right-hander. Well, and right out of the chute, he gets Corey Seager with the bases loaded. Yeah, that's probably a tough draw. Patrick Sandoval, weird night for him.
And he's gotten to the one part of the lineup and now out of the game that he dominated. Corey Seager, Nathaniel Lowe, 4 at-bats, 4 strikeouts. Corey Seager probably happy to see him out of the game.
That one bounces off the plate. Here comes another run. Duran in from third. Everybody advances on the wild pitch. And it's 5-0.
Again, not a role that a guy like Griffin Canning is used to. This is a 4-seam fastball that he throws in the dirt in front of home plate. It's a really slow, kind of interesting warm-up down there in the bullpen, and he has not looked all that comfortable so far. A couple of pitches into this outing. That's a poorly missed location on the fastball. Now they're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Corey Seager.
When Patrick Sandoval, that run, of course, charged to his line. which has to be equally frustrating. And now Nathaniel Lowe, he's the 9th batter of the inning for the Rangers. Bases loaded once again. And a chance for him to atone for those 2 strikeouts to start the night. He swings over the top of a curveball for strike 1. Lowe asks for time and backs out. He's 1 for 4 against Canning. And that one hit, a home run. Taveras, Semien, and Seager 3rd to 1st. And that's low. 96 with a fastball there. So Canning, as CJ had mentioned previously, just 2 relief appearances in his career, major and minor leagues. In the dirt, 2-1. So this is the 3rd time he's been asked to do something like this. And last year he did not play. He was injured, missed the whole season with a low back stress reaction.
It's the first time ever in his career that he's inherited runners. And he got bases loaded.
Wow.
1 out.
Here's his 2-1.
Or excuse me, 2 outs.
Well, that's a strike. 2-2. That was a borderline pitch. No, I don't think arguing the merits of the pitch, but frustrated nonetheless. Let's see what he gets here. 2-2 from Canning. It's on the way. And a swing and a miss in the dirt, but step on the plate forces out the final out of the inning, and the Rangers pick up 3 more. They have a 5-0 lead going to the 4th, and better yet, they've got Max Scherzer dealing 3 shutouts under his belt already tonight.
Let's take a look at our TXU Energy Power stats. And what about Shohei Ohtani? Triple Crown ranks on both sides here. Now, the hitting side and the pitching side, certainly interesting to see. He's got a legitimate shot, I think, on the hitting side. Pitching side going to be a little bit tougher for Shohei, especially now that we found out he's going to miss at least 1 start. It could end up being more as the Angels continue to slide out of contention. But he really, Dave, I don't think has much competition at all right now for the MVP. It's kind of interesting on the American League side. There's only 2 hitters that have an OPS over 900. Shohei Ohtani and Yandy Diaz.
Yeah, I mean, I still think he's the MVP every year.
Yeah.
2-strike pitch. Yeah, that's popped up. But might not be playable. It is not. 0-2 on Ohtani. Until he lets us know otherwise, he's the MVP. I mean, that you just talked about a graphic and said, you know, I don't know if he's going to get the Triple Crown in both, as both a hitter and a pitcher. Really? 0-2. And Scherzer runs that tight. If you did one or the other, you would be an MVP candidate. And he's threatening both. Just an amazing athlete. The 1-2 pitch to him, and he strikes out swinging. Second time tonight that Scherzer's punched him out. 1 away in the 4th.
And gets him to chase that curveball 78 miles an hour outside of the strike zone, and Shohei Ohtani way out front. There's something there for Max Scherzer. And the way this game has gone, 13 of the 19 outs have come via the strikeout here tonight.
6th strikeout so far for Scherzer, and he put that one right on the inside corner for ball 1.
You're going to make a sign now as a fan, I think, when the Angels come into town, that you make one of Shohei Ohtani wearing your uniform.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, look how good you look in this.
Yeah. I like that.
I wouldn't wave goodbye to him. I'd say open arms.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome. Come on in. You stay at my place. Ball, 1 strike on Drury. And that is tight. 2-1. Drury struck out looking in the first inning. That was a wild one.
Yeah, looking.
Yeah, I mean,
talking.
asking for time.
What'd you do in your card?
I put strikeout looking.
Oh.
Did you note it in a unique way?
I did a horizontal K, like a K laying on its back.
Oh, I did that earlier this year.
Yeah.
Looks like a V.
Yep. It's distinct.
But I don't remember what I did it for earlier this year. It must
Yeah.
have been a similar type thing, right?
Sure,
Some sort of
heavy.
violation.
Yeah. I feel like it's the first time I've done it.
The V for violation. Ooh. Check swing. Did he go? Apparently not. Yeah, I'm going to change that right now.
Let's take a look at this from the side. Did Brown? Ooh, yeah, I'd say Drury did offer. It's close.
I thought so too. So a full count. Scherzer's payoff on the way, and that one's on the ground, shortstop. Seager throws him out. 2 away in the 4th inning. Well, let's check in with Emily.
Well, we told you earlier in the show, Travis Jankowski back with the Rangers, not in the lineup today, but he did tell a very interesting story about the naming of his daughter, Renly Reese, and he said they were about 2 hours away from being discharged from the hospital, and he and his wife were just going back and forth. They couldn't decide on a name, and at some point Travis said, look, this is going to sound crazy, but I really like the name Seager. And she was like, I do too. And he's like, we just can't, I can't do it. And so he said he told Corey when he got back in town, hey dude, this is how it went down. And Corey said, man, if you have another kid, you better name it Seager. So anyway, if there is a Jankowski baby number 5, it just might be named Seager.
Oh, number 5?
So here's the
5.
deal.
Wow.
Here's the deal. I asked him about that today. Yeah. He said that he got a phone call today. She said, I think I'm ready for number 5.
Good for them.
Oh,
they love the chaos.
Yeah.
God bless them.
Yeah.
Not for me.
I once thought I wanted 5 children.
Then I had 3.
I had 2. I put both feet on the brakes there for a little while. They're terrific. And I do wish. I wish I had 10.
I got to tell you, I mean, I'm not the one giving birth.
Yeah.
But I think I could go 5. I love it. 1-2. Bouncer up the middle. And there's Seager again. Little baby Seager. He throws out Moustakas. And the inning is done. Another scoreless frame for Max Scherzer. 5-0. Rangers on top. The early lead here today. And this series will continue through Wednesday. So bring the noise. Every game counts this time of year, no doubt about it. We're inside the final 45 of the season. You can still get tickets to tomorrow or Wednesday night's game right now at Rangers.com. Well, already bottom of the 4th inning. And Griffin Canning, who got the final out last inning, goes to work on Garcia, and he puts it right there at the bottom of the zone for strike 1. Strike pitch, and good fastball there, waved at and missed. 0-2. You're right, those strikeouts have been a big part of the story tonight on both sides. And that might be another one right there. No. John Tumpain, he's forgiving.
He is very forgiving. He's like, I know you didn't really mean to swing, and I'll let it go.
Pro hitter.
I think he missed the one on Drury, and he may have missed one there on Garcia.
Adolis has walked twice tonight, and he takes off the plate 2-2.
That is an unbelievable take from him with 2 strikes. He just wasn't taking that pitch a year ago.
It's been quite a shift for Garcia. The 2-2 pitch. It's not like it's cost him. He's still driving the ball. Now, there are times, I would say even on that road trip, we might have seen it a couple of times where he gets frustrated with a call or two and then just kind of goes hero mode for the rest of the afternoon. And not tonight. I mean, tonight he has been dialed in. 2-2 pitch, and that's hammered Down the left side, foul. Whew.
And Loud off the bat at 106, but just a little bit out in front of that changeup.
Two from Canning. Oh, that's outside. Ball 3. We're about to see a 3-walk game for Adolis. Perhaps. I bet there's less than a handful of those in his career. Can he do it? Leading off the 4th inning. Payoff on the way from Canning. He'll stay alive.
He did it once in 2021 against the Rockies. That's it.
Wow. Is that here?
I know we were here.
Yeah, exactly. 3-2. And he strikes out swinging. That's how we begin the 4th. We check in with Emily.
Well, with Mitch Garver coming to the plate, obviously he's behind the dish tonight, and Jonah Heim coming off that start in San Francisco yesterday. Asked Bruce Bochy how he was feeling. He said Jonah said he felt great. You know, what a luxury he has as far as being able to use both of those guys, especially now that, you know, Mitch seems to have settled into a groove offensively. He said it won't be strictly a platoon situation. He'll look at lineups, matchups, all those different kinds of things, but definitely a nice luxury to have both of those guys being pretty much ready and available on a daily basis. Also, too, if Lindsey Jankowski is watching, I am so sorry. I have been butchering her sweet little girl's name. It's not Ren Lee, it's Ren Lin. She's probably throwing things at the television, so my apologies. It's Renlyn Reese Jankowski.
Yeah, I wrote that down on my scorecard.
I know.
Correct, Emily.
Dang it.
I didn't want to show you up on TV.
You haven't shied away from it in the past, CJ.
No, we're all susceptible.
That's why we should just all go with Seager. Keep it easy.
That game was here, by the way, when you were asking about that 3-walk game for Garcia.
There's a
But
strike.
going back to what Emily was saying, and you know, it's obviously a great luxury to have with both of these guys as catchers, and then Austin Hedges in the mix as well, right? Whether it's a defensive replacement or, I mean, there's not too many times we'd see, certainly wouldn't see a pinch hit maybe for these guys unless there was a matchup and Jonah wasn't going to swing right-handed, right? You didn't like the lefty that was coming in, then I guess you can see a scenario where maybe there would be a pinch hitter for Jonah Heim, and then you have Austin Hedges who slides right in and gives you plus defenses, one of the best in the game. So from a catching standpoint right now, yeah, the Rangers are in a good spot with some flexibility, and important to keep, of course, Jonah healthy the rest of the way.
Bouncer shortstop charging in Velasquez. Another high throw. And Moustakas this time able to get up and bring it down. And Velasquez, that's a couple of really rugged throws over to first base tonight.
And he is a guy that is a defender first before the bat. It's the most important part of his game, and he is a really good defender. But you're right here, second time, and Moustakas saving him on this high throw. And he threw it on the run, and I get why you do it. It wasn't necessary with Mitch Garver running, but just more comfortable for Velasquez to make the throw that way.
So now the base is empty. Here is Ezekiel Duran. Zeke 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. And it's 1-1. 5-0. 3 of the 5 runs the Rangers have scored today. The runner got on via the walk. Canning is coming to try and settle things down just a little bit. This is outside here, 2-1.
So I wonder the decision you were talking about, well, it could have been Griffin Canning who slid in for Shohei Ohtani. They don't necessarily have to put somebody in there, right? Because they were going with a 6-man rotation. And the way that Canning looks right now, I think I'm okay with it. He's throwing the ball pretty well. And
So I guess you figure out somebody else that'll make that start on Wednesday, whether they move somebody up, if they can even do that. We'll see. But with Shohei Ohtani in your rotation, that's the other part with him, is that six-man rotation seems to work better for him. Let's take a look at Phil Nevin, the manager there of the Los Angeles Angels.
Well, there's your strike call by Tom Paine down at first on an appeal. Now Duran doesn't like it. A scoreless fourth inning. And we go to the fifth. The Stars out tonight. The biggest names in the game, Scherzer, Ohtani, and company. Had a good one so far with the Rangers up 5-0. Fifth inning, which is brought to you by Audi tonight. Rangers with a 5-0 lead. Max Scherzer has been very sharp here tonight. And his first pitch in the fifth inning bounced right to second base. Rengifo retired, one away. That's kind of fun when you can get those two. Scherzer with 6 strikeouts so far, and he's induced a number of ground ball outs as well. He has one double play, but it was a line out double play, and that was in the second inning.
3 straight groundouts now for Max Scherzer. A great way to conserve pitch count, certainly. And while it's fun to watch the strikeouts, especially when he's going up against Shohei Ohtani, and he's punched him out twice, we also like to see Max Scherzer have an opportunity to get deep into the game, and keeping the pitch count down will do that.
Strike pitch to Renfroe, and that's outside. Renfroe walked in the second inning, and then he was a part of that line-out double play in the second. And that's 2-1. So first of 3 against the Angels. And then I think we'll see the Angels one more time, right? The last week of the season in LA, and that will be the 25th, 6th, and 7th in LA. That's it. 2-2 pitch. A little roller first base side, low, quick shovel to Scherzer, and he's well ahead of Renfroe. 2 gone. Good job by Scherzer to cover first base.
He is something, man. He is an absolute treat to watch on game day, and the intensity. I'm not sure exactly what he's saying to himself. It's not shovel to Scherzer. It's impressive. That's not easy to say.
We were in Washington many years ago, right? The start against Austin Bibbins Dirks, which was so memorable. But he's a guy, like, he'll yell at himself out there, Scherzer. Cuss himself out. It's amazing. He is high energy on his start days. It was a swing and a miss. 0-2 on Theis.
I wonder how much that part of the game has changed for him. I know he's always been intense, but as you get older, it doesn't slow down. I think about Rich Hill. Right? Rich Hill, nobody yells at himself more and curses loud than a guy like Rich Hill is pitching into his 40s. Max Scherzer here at 39. I mean, listen, that cranky old man syndrome is a real thing.
He's trying to make it 5 scoreless innings. The 0-2. And that's high. He's had just 2 base runners tonight, an infield hit and a walk. And then he erased one of them on a double play. So he's faced 1 over the minimum. The 1-2 pitch, and that's outside. Well, Scherzer, his first taste as a Ranger. This is now his 3rd start since the trade deadline, and he has been excellent. And that one fouled off. Theis stays alive. Scherzer, the active career leader in strikeouts in Major League Baseball. With 6 more tonight, he has 3,335. And that is a little roller up along first. Low to Scherzer again, and the inning is over.
They're going to say shovel to Scherzer.
Nah, Can't go to the well too many times. Mad Max looking good, though. 5 shutouts so far for the Rangers right-handers. Selling pretty quickly. We welcome you to the 5th inning tonight, brought to you by Audi. Make sure you get the right size. So far, Scherzer, 1 infield hit tonight. 2-5 shutout. Rangers with a 5-0 lead. Bottom third of the order coming up here. Grossman, JP Martinez, and then Leody Taveras. And Griffin Canning is upstairs with a breaking ball. Ball 1. That one lined out to the alley in right field. That'll be extra bases for Grossman. The ball just coming off the wall. Grossman will tiptoe into second. He holds there. It's a stand-up double to open the 5th inning.
Nice piece of hitting here from Robbie Grossman, and he does it against the Griffin Canning changeup. Good look at the grip right there. Kind of sitting in the middle. And I don't know if you could pick up on the fans there. They were really trying to get Robbie Grossman to go for 3. They really, really wanted him to try to turn this into a triple, but Smart leading off the inning. Not trying to take that extra base if you didn't have 100% confidence that you could get there.
I was wondering if he might try it. Martinez watches high. JP Martinez, an infield hit, scored a run, and then a sac fly his last time up. It's been fun to watch so far. Takes a strike. 1-1. From Cuba. He played professionally in Cuba briefly. Played in the Cuban Serie Nacional. And he played well there. It was a swing and a miss. Strike 2. And then as a 21-year-old, the Rangers entered into an agreement with him. And it paid him handsomely. And he's been a well thought of prospect for quite a few years now. Finally getting a chance.
You know what's interesting about going and looking at some of his numbers on Baseball Reference and tracking the time that he spent in Cuba. You mentioned the 5 years that he played there. The first year he was 16. 16 years old, and they do that little thing on Baseball Reference. They call it the age difference compared to the rest of the league. Minus 10.2. He was 10 years younger than the average player in that league, which is a really high number.
Strikes out here, 1 away.
You and I have 15-year-old boys, a year older, and he was playing professional baseball in Cuba.
It's so silly.
It's nuts.
Yeah. The difference between a 16-year-old and a 26-year-old.
Yeah.
Taveras, and he'll go after the first pitch. That's a big swing. But he got underneath it, and Moniak takes care of it. 2 away. Lineup turns over. We slide over. Let's hear from Rally House.
Play ball, Texas. Shop the latest in Rangers style with your favorite brands and throwback designs. Rally House has gear for every fan.
Good night so far for Marcus Semien. He's been on 3 times, an error, a single, and a walk. He's driven in 2. It's got Grossman at second base, and he'll take a changeup for strike 1. Marcus stays right in there, and he swings through that one. 0-2. Marcus just spent a week sleeping in his own bed in Alameda. Grew up in Alameda, still has a home there, and thoroughly enjoyed being at home. 2-strike pitch, that one fouled off. Of course, we always think of, coming back here as coming home. For Marcus, it was actually leaving home. What a joy it was for him, though, to have a full week 2-strike pitch flared into center. Coming on for it, Moniak. Going out for it, Drury. And he'll make the catch. The inning is done. Rangers leave a man at second. So we're off to the 6th inning tonight. It's still 5-0.
Coverage cam. Max Scherzer on the mound. Third start in a Ranger uniform, and it's been pretty good so far against the Angels. He has struck out Shohei Ohtani a couple of times here. He had the pitch clock violation strikeout as well. That's always kind of a nice one to get, although Max Scherzer didn't seem too happy about getting that strikeout. But he is looking sharp here so far with a 5-0 lead against the Angels. And for Max Scherzer, 6 strikeouts, just 1 hit allowed, 1 walk, and obviously no runs.
Well, he gets going here against Randal Grichuk. Spends a slider in there for a strike. Grichuk grounded out in the 3rd inning. Then it's Velasquez, and then back up top again. There's a strike. Back-to-back sliders. And it's 0-2. So Scherzer working with Garver as he has now for all 3 starts. And he strikes out Grichuk. This time the Angels batter decides to run on the drop 3rd strike. He's thrown out easily for the first out of the inning.
Big chase here from Randal Grichuk against Max Scherzer with this slider that was really nowhere near the zone. Really good job by Mitch Garver to keep that baseball in front of him.
So here's Andrew Velasquez. And he struck out in the 3rd inning. You mentioned it earlier, a glove first shortstop. That's the value really that he brings, is his ability defensively. He takes a strike here 0-2. That makes it really tough on a guy like Velasquez.
Yeah, he can run a little bit. Does have 3 bunt base hits. The only active Angel to have any bunt base hits this year. We'll keep an eye on that throughout this series potentially.
Well, he strikes out swinging, back-to-back Ks for Scherzer.
That slider looked live there. Actually, the cutter from Max Scherzer with some really late bite, but some bigger movement than most of his cutters that we see. He struck out Shohei Ohtani on a cutter earlier in the 1st inning, and now here he gets Velasquez on one as well.
And then he stalks around the mound like a lion in the Serengeti. I mean, he is the alpha competitor. That's how Mike Maddox describes him. You'll see him hit the button on his pitch com on his glove. Call for the pitch he wants. Here it comes. And that one right in there. Good curveball that time. 1-1 to Moniak, who has struck out twice. He's dominated the top of the order. That's strike 2.
And with Moniak in particular, he has finished him off in his first 2 at-bats with fastballs that were up and away, 94 and 95 miles an hour. We'll see if he tries to go there again to finish it.
The 1-2. Trying to get him to chase that curveball. Moniak stays alive. Well, a good crowd. They're into it. And I think you have to appreciate when you have the opportunity to see a guy like Scherzer pitch in your uniform. And they'd love to see him get another strikeout. The 1-2. And that's hit hard down the line. Foul.
So with a couple of off-speed pitches trying to finish him off in these last 2. And you see the swing there and kind of speeding up the bat a little bit. And so it feels like, and again, trying to guess along with Max Scherzer is probably the biggest challenge I think I've had of any pitcher that we've had in a Ranger uniform in our 7 years. Feels like a fastball. We'll see.
We'll find out right now. Here it comes. And it goes fastball. And he gets strike 3 called on Moniak. The inning is done. 9 strikeouts for Scherzer.
Fastball on the corner here, 95 miles an hour. Max Scherzer putting on a show all night, but especially here in the 6th inning, striking out the side for the 2nd time tonight. Slugging all year long. A little bit different here this evening in the way way that they scored some of their runs. Base hit, then an error, which led to a run. We get a sacrifice fly here by JP Martinez. There's Adolis Garcia scoring. How about a bases-loaded walk? That'll work. Certainly in driving in a run there. A wild pitch leading to another run. And then think about the last game the Rangers had. They scored a run in the 10th inning on a balk. And then the run before that, they scored on an infield ground out. Brandon Crawford trying to make a great play, and JP Martinez scored all the way from second base on an infield ground ball. So as much as this team has slugged at home and hit home runs in this ballpark, a little bit different here lately over the last game plus. She's going to keep in front, and that's what she did. Good job right there.
I got to tell you, that was one of the better plays we've seen down the line there by the ball girl, and I thought she was about to make a really impressive effort. That was good.
Just keep in front, knock it down, don't let it hurt anybody. Give it to that guy.
Pretty quick too, right? She got out there.
Well, you got to go through the fence. It's a little bit more of a challenge. We were talking about the ball dudes in San Francisco yesterday. 67 and 71 years old. There was like a retired Tech CEO. It's one of the guys down the left field line. It's a fascinating group, but they get to sit down the line. Our group has the extra challenge of going through the gate and then getting to the baseball.
2-1 pitch. And Seager hits that hard on a line. Deep out to right center. That gets down. Bounces over the fence. It's a Buck Rule double for Corey Seager.
I felt like it was just a matter of time before Corey Seager got a hold of the baseball, and he does here. Four-seam fastball that you see from Griffin Canning. Up the way, not a bad pitch from him. But Seager all over that 96-mile-an-hour heater, driving it into that gap, and one big hop over the wall. Looked like it got that security camera out there. Did you see that play in Boston the other day when the glass broke on the Green Monster?
No.
So you know the big bulbs that they have for balls and strikes there? It's just kind of like a glass bulb. That's what Seager hit, by the way. One of those got smashed the other day. It's surprising it hasn't happened before, quite honestly.
Yeah.
The ball went right into and got stuck in there. But completely smashed it, and Yoshida, who was playing left for the Red Sox, pretty close to almost running into that glass.
A fly ball out to Grichuk in left field, and Lowe retired, one away. I always figured those were made out of that type of glass that you almost can't break. Like, let's see, did this break glass right here?
Let's see. Oh, no. But that'd be a great, I bet you that's some great video footage. They'll talk to security. Indestructible.
Didn't flinch. Seager still out at second. And this one softly bounced to third base. A throw across the diamond in time, though, to get Garcia. 2 away. Rangers, they had a leadoff double last inning, but could not move Grossman. They get a leadoff double this inning, and thus far have not moved Seager. You know, they had the 5 runs, and they've had the great pitching tonight from Max Scherzer, but really, they haven't moved runners all that well. I mean, there was the good sacrifice by Taveras, and there was the good hit by Marcus Semien. But otherwise, you know, it's wild pitches and errors, bases loaded walks. Kind of a weird night.
2 for 10 with runners in scoring position for the Rangers.
Ball a strike on Garver.
They've been the best in baseball all season long. Continue to lead in that category. The numbers come down. We talked about that at the very beginning of the season. There was no way they were going to continue to hit 330 with runners in scoring position the way they were early on. Under 300 now, but still the best.
Garver with a single and a walk tonight and scored a run. Canning's 1-1 pitch. That's hit hard. Down the left field line. That could be trouble. It gets down, base hit. Around third, Seager, he scores. Garver with the RBI double. And the Rangers lead 6-0.
That's what we are used to seeing all year long. The Rangers coming out slugging against opposing pitchers. This is a changeup right down the middle of the plate. And so after Corey Seager turned a fastball into a double, Mitch Garver takes an off-speed pitch and drives this one into left field.
So now he's out there for Ezekiel Duran. I thought that time I would just use my mysterious voodoo powers to reverse jinx a run.
Nice.
Yeah, you know.
Nobody tracks those.
Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah. Tally that one. One strike on Ezekiel Duran. And that's low. Canning in relief. He had to come in the third inning when Patrick Sandoval just kind of ran out of gas. It was not a good start for Sandoval. 2 2/3 innings, 6 walks. He only allowed 4 hits, but it ultimately gave the Rangers 5 runs. So he was done. Canning has had to take over from there, and he'll go as long as they can stretch him. He's a starter by trade. Should be able to give them plenty of innings. The 1-2. That is strike 3 called. He gets Duran looking. But the Rangers had another run. And it was a hit with a runner in scoring position. Mitch Garver ripped a double to left. And it's 6-0.
1 hit so far for the Angels. Let's get to some StatCast powered by Google Cloud and take a look at the strikeouts here tonight for Max Scherzer. How many times has he struck out Angel hitters? 9 times for Max Scherzer. Got the 4-seam fastball 3 times. Cutter, changeup, curveball, slider all in there. He had the 1 pitch timer violation. And I mentioned it at the very beginning of this game for Max Scherzer. You get into the depth of his arsenal and better than 20 strikeouts on 5 different pitches coming into this game.
This time Ohtani makes contact, and a pop-up near third results in the first out of the inning. Brings up Brandon Drury. Scherzer's been locked in tonight. He's faced 1 over the minimum. He's given up an infield hit, and Drury had to jog up to the plate. Did you see that?
All worried about the pitch timer?
Yes, he ended up jogging up there. Remember, he struck out on a violation earlier tonight, and he takes strike 1 here.
I mean, you could take the timeout before if you want to.
Sure, great. Yeah, but then you can't do it at the end again.
You think there was some sarcasm in there with the jog?
I don't know. 1-1. Oops, yeah.
There you go.
I mean, Scherzer's not messing around, right? I mean, that's the thing. If he gets the ball and is right back up there, then tick-tock.
We have a little bit of time.
Well, you got 30 seconds, right? You should have 30 seconds as a hitter.
And you have to be in the box looking up at, what, 9?
9.
It's really amazing how much we haven't had to talk about that very much after the first month or so and kind of filling fans in and getting everybody used to the new rules. I think we've all gotten comfortable pretty quickly. Seeing that clock has been a non-issue. That was the other thing, right? Who wants to see a clock in baseball? And you don't really. It's there, but you have to look for it. It's not in your face. If the clock's in the outfield, you got the ones there each side for the pitchers to see and everybody on the field.
Two and 2 on Drury. I would agree. The rules changes this year have worked great. Now Scherzer, he doesn't like them. He just doesn't.
No.
And that's fine. He's pitched a long, great career without them. And he strikes out Drury, his 10th strikeout tonight.
We talked about 10 strikeout games for Max Scherzer in his career. Was he at 111, I believe it was. And here is a slider outside of the strike zone that Brandon Drury goes fishing on. By the way, I was going to tell you, last inning I stepped out for a second. You might want to get out there. There's still some chocolate cake. Leftover birthday cake. As we see Max Scherzer now 112th time
He struck out 10 or more in his career. It is Mark Gubicza's birthday. The great Gooby, longtime big league pitcher, a really good one, and now analyst, and he's been doing that for a long time and doing it really well for Angels television. 61 years old today.
Yeah, he is the best too. What a great guy.
None of us will look that good at 61.
No, none of us
guarantee.
Look that good at 41. Great Mark Gubicza. He was a big help the other day in my immaculate grid too. 0-2 pitch, and that's lifted foul. That little box, it was Royals Angels.
Yeah,
it helped out.
I stink at that game.
Yeah,
it's not right. If I can't figure out people basically in my generation, former teammates.
I figured for you that would be it. Yeah, for me it's the baseball cards I collected. 0-2. And a swing and a miss. 11 strikeouts for Max Scherzer, and he's dialed in.
This time on the cutter, it was a slider to record strikeout number 10, and a cutter here to Mike Moustakas. Make it 11 punchies tonight for Max Scherzer. He is on.
Is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Well, the Rangers enjoying this one so far. 6-0 the score. And looking for a little bit more here against Griffin Canning in the bottom of the 7th inning. Max Scherzer, meanwhile, 7 shutout. Has allowed 1 hit. And that's high. 1-1. Scherzer, after that inning, got the strikeout and then the handshakes and the news that you're done. Thank you for 7 shutout innings, and he's pumped.
Think about this. When he first got here, that first start we saw, right, he gave up 3 runs in the first inning. And kind of getting comfortable since then. He is now, 19 innings, 1 run. Since that first inning when he gave up 3.
And 13 shutout here at home.
Yeah, wow.
2-1 from Canning, and Grossman sends that one foul out of play. That'll even the count.
Sounds like a good graphic for his next start. Since that first inning in his first start, absolute domination for Max Scherzer.
Chatting with Dane Dunning over there, who, by the way, was equally as brilliant yesterday.
I think I would guess, 11 strikeouts is good. It's not 12 like I had yesterday, but you should be proud of your 11. That's what I'd be saying if I was Dane Dunning.
There's a base hit into left field for Grossman. He's digging hard for 2. He'll have it easily. The ball just now coming back into the infield. Second double of the game for Robbie Grossman.
Good job here by Robbie Grossman. A little opposite field swing here, and this one was up in the air for a little while, but gets down, kicks into that corner off the slider there from Griffin Canning. Robbie Grossman's had to run a little bit these last couple of at-bats.
So he's in scoring position for JP Martinez. And Martinez takes right on the inside corner. Oh, and 2 to JP. And this now, what is his 4th major league game. And he's really looked the part here. Really poised. I mean, yesterday it stuck out in the 9th inning when the Rangers were down 1-0 in the 9th and 2 outs. And he delivered a double off of Logan Webb, knocked him out of the game. He gave the Rangers a chance, and then a brilliant base running play on his part with 2 outs to score, tied the game, and sent us to extras. That was pretty impressive. The other thing that was impressive was his debut in game 1 of that series in San Francisco. 3 strikeouts or whatever, and 0 for 3, and then drew a nice walk. Bouncer in the hole short. Velasquez diving stop, but Martinez has his 2nd hit of the game. The ball was placed pretty well. Great play, though, by Velasquez to get to it.
Yeah, at least it keeps Robbie Grossman at second base. You got no chance of getting Martinez because of how well he runs, but a heck of an effort from Velasquez. We talked about the glove. It's been a good one over the course of his career. It goes full extension. In a game in which you're trailing by 6, your pitcher certainly does appreciate that. Nobody out, and so you still have the force out.
Potentially over at third. I don't think we'll see Taveras bunting here again like he did last time, unless he tries to bunt for a hit.
Takes very high for ball 1. Well, he followed the sacrifice with an infield hit his next time up. Flew out to center in the 5th inning. He takes a strike. 1-1.
But going back to what you were talking about with Martinez, I think early evaluation here, and the Rangers certainly knew this. Fundamentally sound, not overwhelmed at all by facing big league pitching. Of course, that time in Cuba certainly helps. I think prepares young players for the big stage a lot quicker.
High pop up. Infield fly rule should be in effect. There's the signal. And Rengifo catches it anyway. All right, let's check in again with Emily.
Well, you guys were talking about Max Scherzer and that rough first inning in his Rangers debut, and it was so interesting to hear his comments after that game, and he's kind of got excited about it. He's like, those are the starts I really like, because that's what you find out what you're made of. You find out how you can adjust to situations, how you can change within the game and do those little things to get yourself back on track. And so in a weird way, he said those starts get him going even maybe a little bit more than others might, because he learned so much about himself and he's testing what he can do, what his limits are, and what he can overcome.
And the satisfaction, right? When things end up finishing really well, he doesn't allow any more runs. The Ranger offense shows up like it has all year and gives him that support after giving up those 3, and ultimately they end up winning that game. And it's not new for him necessarily changing teams, right? We've seen Max Scherzer move around a little bit over the course of his career. Arizona, Detroit, Washington, the Dodgers, the Mets, and now here with the Rangers. And so he's been in that spot where you're trying to make that first kind of good impression. I don't care who you are and how long you've been around. You join a new team, you certainly want to start things off really well. And I think it's a good point from that first start in the way that he bounced back. I was thinking about this today. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's going to get the blank cap, isn't he?
He might. Yeah.
Is there a team that you look at Max Scherzer and identify with off the top of your head, like quickly? It goes, oh, he's that guy, and I don't.
No, I mean, if anything, the closest I would have would be Washington, just because of the 2 Cy Youngs there, and he had a really, really successful run.
7 seasons that he spent there, yeah.
Yeah.
Won a World Series. Maybe.
But I could see it. But he could definitely be a blank cap guy.
I really don't like the blank caps.
I don't either. I say let the guy choose. A 2-2. That ball's hit well. Deep out to left. It is gone! 3-run shot for Marcus Semien. Rangers.
Have a night here, Marcus Semien, and it has been a good one for him as he gets this pitch on the inner third. We've seen a lot of these from him, kind of interesting, where he's turned on baseballs that have been somewhat high and getting out down the left field line. A couple of them at this ballpark. We mentioned the Rangers, how good they have been here, and the long ball in this
stadium, and it is continuing here tonight. Marcus Semien just opening things wide up here as Griffin Canning is knocked out of the game.
Nothing now in the 7th inning. Hey, I mentioned earlier that the Brewers will be coming to town this weekend, Friday through Sunday. Standing room only seats remaining for Saturday's game. You can get your tickets right now, though, at Rangers.com. Milwaukee team leading the Central Division by 3.5 games over the Cubs. Coming into play today, Aaron Loup is the new pitcher for the Angels.
41st game of the season for him. 4 home runs allowed in his 35 and a third innings. 2-seam fastball, cutter, changeup, curveball, and some 4-seamers in there. Fastball sits around 92.
Martin Perez thrown out of the bullpen for the Rangers. Looks like he'll come in the 8th inning. A 9-0 game, at least at the moment. Seager batting with nobody on base. And he takes outside.
Aaron Loup has faced 50 left-handers this year. He's only walked one of them. But there hasn't been a lot of swing and miss in his game. He's also only struck out 7 lefties of the 50 that he has faced. You've seen from that low arm angle.
That's lined into center field, but right to Moniak. 2 gone.
So he gets back-to-back lefties with Corey Seager and now Nathaniel Lowe. And more often than not, there's going to be some contact.
So here's Lowe. 0 for 4 so far tonight. And Luke deals outside ball 1. So the Rangers in double digits in hits again tonight. 9 runs on 10 hits. And this is the highest scoring offense in baseball. They are at 681 runs for the year. I should say in the American League. Atlanta had recently taken over the top spot. And that's lined into left field. Base hit for Lowe. Sliding stop by Gritchett. Lowe will settle for a 2-out single.
This has to feel pretty good for Nathaniel Lowe, who was having a rough night with 3 strikeouts and a flat. He looked particularly frustrated with his last at-bat, so he gets a left-on-left opportunity here, and what he's done so often, a line drive in the left field for a base hit.
He's aboard for Adolis Garcia. A couple of walks tonight for Albombi, a strikeout and a ground out. 9 runs on 11 hits for the Rangers. No runs, only 1 hit tonight, an infield hit for the Angels. So this has been a decidedly one-sided affair tonight. And Garcia hits this ball high in the air out to center. Carrying well, it's gone! Into the bullpen and right. Number 30 for Albombi. And the Rangers are in double digits.
You'll hear hitters talking about their ability to backspin a baseball. There's a good look at Aaron Loup and the changeup, and you're going to see Adolis Garcia put a ton of backspin on this ball, and that's how he gets that kind of carry on a slower pitch in the changeup, as that thing just continued to go right into that Ranger bullpen.
Now Garver. So Garcia 30 homers and 91 RBIs now. With better than a quarter of the season to go.
His career high, we saw that back in 2021 when Garcia hit 31 home runs. He did that in 622 plate appearances. It's just over 500 plate appearances now, and 101 RBIs last year. Feels like he'll blow past that one as well. It's been a great season for Garcia, all while adding significantly to that walk total.
So it's another 5-run inning and another double-digit run-scoring game. You can see 23 games now this year where the Rangers have scored 10 or more, most in baseball. And they have just pounded the Angels tonight. There's a strike. Full count now on Garver. They have become a dominant team in their home ballpark. It's in the air over to the right side, foul, and out of play by Garver.
So you get what the kind of internal fireworks that we have here, right, when guys hit home runs, and so you end up with a little bit of smoke. Not much. It's not moving at all. We talked about kind of the air movement here. That is fascinating to look at. Up in the rafters,
just sits there.
Almost like a cloud that's just completely sitting still. It's real thin, but it's not moving. Almost looks fake.
It really is weird.
Yeah, and it's a little brighter from our view, and looks a little bit different on camera. It's kind of mesmerizing.
Why don't you watch the field? Uh-oh, that one gets away. Garver will go to second. Ball 1 to Duran. I think that was a wild pitch. Duran's a 9th hitter of the inning. It's fouled off. It was a wild pitch. The Rangers batted around in the 3rd inning, scored 3 runs in that frame. They've scored 5 runs so far here in the 7th. Duran 0 for 3 with a walk. He has struck out 3 times. And that's strike 2. Garver walks off second. Nobody really paying a whole lot of attention or particularly worried about him. In an 11-0 game in the 7th inning, this one has gotten away from the Angels. I wonder if we might even see a position player in the 8th inning for them. Who feels low?
Yeah, we haven't had that conversation in a while. It's something the Rangers saw a lot of early on, far and away leading Major League Baseball and seeing position players pitch against them.
Payoff pitch. Duran lifts it into right field. Renfroe is there, and that ends the inning. The Rangers will have to settle for the 5 runs. Some explosive swings on the 7th.
Now we saw one from Marcus Semien, the 11th home run that he has hit in this ballpark this year. And then we saw number 30 on the season for the Ranger right fielder, Adolis Garcia. Rangers offense is on fire tonight.
Chevy Hood. Tonight we find Aroldis Chapman. Basically what all these numbers are telling you, he's very, very good at pitching, including the 2019 Mariano Rivera AL reliever of the year. 14 games with the Rangers, pitched 14 innings, 51% K rate, and a 170 batting average against, guys.
Yeah, he's
good at baseball.
He has been really good here. Obviously, he's had a great career, but since he's joined the Rangers, he has been terrific. This was a really nice ad. The Rangers got aggressive to get him in here early before it got to the deadline. It's been special.
Well struck out to center field, and Taveras runs it down for the first out of the 8th inning. Team Perez, a new pitcher here this inning. How about a word now from Jack in the Box?
My classic sourdough Jack. It's named after your 2 favorite things, sourdough and me. Only at Jack.
See game number 22 now here for Martin. Second this season in which he is coming out of the Ranger bullpen. The Rangers added some pitching depth, and so unfortunately for Martin, put into the bullpen, but certainly there is a role to be served. He hasn't pitched much, and no doubt he's probably frustrated by that. But the depth of this team right now as they chase a championship. We saw a career year last season from Martin, not quite as good this year. The Rangers wanted to strengthen up that rotation a little bit. That means that Martin ends up in the bullpen.
Foul tip there by Renfroe. Josh Smith has taken over at shortstop for Seager. Jankowski takes over in right field for Adolis Garcia, and Austin Hedges will catch the final 2 innings here. Two-strike pitch, and that's strike 3. Renfroe strikes out. 2 away.
Take a look at the pitch here. The curveball from Martin below the zone. And it's Adams pinch hitting. Missed that. A lot of changes.
Theis with a little tapper out in front of the plate. Hedges throws him out. And that ends the inning. Last of the 8th. Coming up, it's still 11-0. Sports is brought to you by Taylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better, and by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. All right, Rangers having a big night tonight, up 11-0. So we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. More changes in the ball game here. Eduardo Escobar is the new pitcher for the Angels.
That's got to be a record. 39 miles an hour on that pitch. They called it a slider. Oh my, how about the speed differential there?
Yeah, he's going to be tough doing that.
And considering that he hasn't pitched in a game since 2016, it's been a while. He threw a shutout inning for the Minnesota Twins and 1 hit allowed. Faced 4 batters.
Oh, with the loop-de-loop. And so did Velasquez. Another terrible throw. And Grossman is on via the error. Man, has he had a tough night.
He certainly has. We saw him make that great diving play. Didn't
necessarily yield in an out, but we've seen the glove from him. But he is having an issue here throwing and looking a little flat-footed, and maybe kind of taking a little bit of a mental break with Escobar on the mound. Another high throw. Looks like what, Chad Wallach? Is Chad Wallach over there playing first now?
You got me.
Can't keep up. Yeah, he is. Wallach over at first. Adams stayed in it right. Now the big question is, did they give Velasquez an error? It seems so tough to get. They did.
They had to.
I assume nothing these days. By the way, 10th time this season now for the Rangers that they have faced a position player pitching, most in baseball.
Bouncer second base. They'll get the out at second, but cannot turn the double play. Martinez, who moves quickly, able to beat it out. So it's a force out. 4-6 on the fielder's choice. It was an error on Velasquez, by the way.
There are still 6 teams that haven't faced a position player pitching. The Rangers have done it now 10 times.
Taveras lines this one out to left center field. That one drops in, base hit. Into third base, Martinez. They'll wave him to the plate, and he'll score on the double by Leote. And it's a cool dozen now tonight for the Rangers.
Well, 84 miles an hour on this pitch from Escobar. Impressive velocity. It's still registered as a slider, and we get to see Martinez run here a little bit. We talk about
his great speed that he has. Fun to watch as the Rangers continue to get more and more athletic.
Ball third base, and Rengifo. That's a nice play at third.
It was 38 miles an hour. Marcus Semien taking kind of that softball swing.
Now Jankowski. His first at bat of the ball game. And his first at bat as a father of 4. Oof.
Looks well rested, surprisingly.
He had high energy going today, boy. Maybe some of that daddy energy. 1-1. That's pretty much one of the greatest highs available to man, right?
No doubt.
I think he was still riding some of that adrenaline earlier this afternoon during BP. 2-1 pitch. And that one in the air, center field. Moniak coming on. He'll make the play, and that ends the inning. Rangers add a run. It's 12-0.
The camera not quite intact, but the good news is my head is still intact.
Is that what I heard?
Saw that ball coming, and I ducked, and then I heard something shatter, and I wasn't sure exactly where it went, and then turned around and looked behind me and saw that that's where it went. Very, very close to my little head.
You got enough cameras in there, by the way?
I know, seriously. And Travis Jankowski, just like the gentleman that he is, apologized on his way to the outfield out of the dugout.
Good manners. Ground out to short, start the 9th inning. And now here is Andrew Velasquez. So a quick first out as Martin is retired 4 straight in this relief outing, and he fires that one right in there for a strike. Just one hit for the Angels tonight. Mike Moustakas in the 2nd inning, and it didn't get out of the infield. A bouncer shortstop again. One more time for Smith. Good dig over there at first base, and 2 away. 7 brilliant innings from Max Scherzer. Martin trying to wrap it up. A 12-0 Rangers lead. Houston lost earlier today. 5-1 in Miami. And this one is upstairs, ball 1. Check that. A 4-3 ground out and a 6-3 ground out. Anyway, my mistake. Here's the 1-0. And that one down the left field line and out of play. 1-1.
Yeah, it was close. I mean, this is easily a hit and it would have been a tough play. This is Mike Moustakas to lead off the 2nd inning, and you're going to see Marcus Semien give it everything he has as he tried to corral that baseball, but couldn't quite get there, and you see him kind of jumping up. Clean exchange. I mean, it would have been a great play, and that's what it would have taken to get a no-hitter.
Well, this one tracked down by Martinez, and the ball game is over. The Rangers with a 12-0, and quite a convincing win at that, over the Angels to open the homestand.
Now, this is a fun one. We always get excited now when Max Scherzer is on the mound. He was fantastic. The offense responded. It was interesting to watch the offense early manufacturing runs, and then ultimately we started to see the long ball once again as this team continues to play really, really well at home.
A lot of pressure in this one today. The Rangers cruise 12-0, the final score. We'll be back here at the ballpark here in just a moment.